All right, y'all. Hey, it's me, Dani Baby. I'm at Denver Community Media with the glorious Jenna. We're going to hold a little conversation. We've never met in the flesh before, so we're here right now getting ready to tune in and actively listen to what the brilliance of this human has to let us in on. But right before that, to prepare for active listening, we're going to go ahead and stim it out for a minute. You know, just let the body move and any sound you want to make. Here we go. Ba ba da da da. Ooh ooh yeah. Here we is. Da 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 da. Yeah yeah yeah. Ooh ooh. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you so much for sitting in this chair with me today. Again, just meeting you 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
So I would like to know, really, what brought you to wanting to sit in this chair today?
Ooh, yes, that's a good question. I think meeting strangers is very fascinating. I think it's often scary, and when you do scary things, like good outcomes happen.
This is true.
Yeah.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
coming in with your earnest, honest heart space. I can feel it. I can feel that. So I was connected to you because of Leslie over at Arvada Art Center. And, well, I think I mistitled that. Arvada Center for Humanities.
And for the Arts and Humanities.
Okay, thank you.
Arvada Center is what we in the biz call it. Yeah.
Perfect. I just didn't want to misidentify that, you know? And speaking of identifiers, you are, what are your pronouns? I would like.
She, they.
Perfect.
Thank
and
you.
I am they, them. So I appreciate that. Any old way. Okay, so connected to you from Leslie at the Arvada Center. And I guess what I want to dive into, because I've been fan humaning ever since I sat at the opening day, but you had a big part of Noises Off. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yes.
Okay.
So in Noises Off, I play Poppy, the stage manager. And for those who don't know what Noises Off is about this like acting theater company. And Act 1 is all about the rehearsal process. Act 2 is the backstage view of doing the show. And then Act 3 is the front stage view of doing the show as chaos ensues and whatnot. And so as a stage manager, my job is to kind of keep the machine going and keep making sure that everyone's taken care of, that props are where they're supposed to be. And so in a farce, I have a lot to do. Yeah, for sure. It's been really fun.
Yeah. So when I got to sit in there and watch it, seriously, one of my favorite plays. I say this every single time I see a play, but to see just like, you know, the stage moving the way that it did and how, you know, the beginning chaos was like a little bit there and then the secondary chaos and then the ending was just everything. But your character in particular, being someone that had to control or ease in the chaos, is there any representation as to why you were drawn to that character, that you were like, I would love to be this character because it feels like something maybe I go through? Is there any type of...
I never thought of it that way, but honestly, like there are a lot of similarities between me and my character.
Okay.
Just like the trying to keep it all together while the world is burning around you. I think I definitely can relate to as Jenna, a human, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, but always like having a smile on your face and just like trying to handle everything, even though sometimes it does become out of your control. And there's like that release and that like surrender to the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that my character does her best as well to hold it all in until they cannot.
I appreciate it because when I was witnessing it, you know, just you on the stage as the character portion, a lot of times just still in the society sense that we're sitting in, you know, where there's a lot of male domination and certain things. And to see you facilitate within the chaos that ensued because of the male characterships going on, I thought was a really good representation of like how you just said, you know, showing up, smile on my face, everything's fine, let me control everything. But at the same token, I'm still a person. Do you even see me? Do you hear me? And I think that's probably relatable for a lot of folks, I'd like to say for uterus owners, vulva owners that have to hold it together in so many instances. And so does that feel like the character sometimes for you, or just real life at times for you?
I think there's always an underlying feeling like that. I think also there's like power in how do I say this? I feel like there's like power in also kind of being the still person and like kind of working behind the scenes, which is very much what Poppy does, the character that I play. And so I think that's also really fun to play with, and even though she may seem submissive, she's still calling the shots.
Oh,
at the
absolutely.
End of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So. It's like that whole circumnavigating another person's wisdom, because you have the zoom out. You're seeing more of the picture than they are, because the focus is themselves. Such a brilliant play. And even though that you were a character on this specific set, have you participated in anything else outside of just that within the Arvada Center?
Yes. So last year, about a year ago exactly, to this day, I was in a musical called Damn Yankees.
Okay.
Which I was playing a much more outgoing character, I'd say. She was such a broad in the sense that she spoke her mind. She was a journalist, and she was always after that inside scoop.
Yeah.
And so that was a really fun character to play. Before that, I did a show a few years back called Bus Stop.
Okay.
Where it took place in the 50s, and it was just all these like different characters coming into this like bus stop cafe.
Okay.
Which was really fun. And I was kind of just going through like and having different conversations with each of these very different people. So that was really cool. And then I actually booked one of my very first like professional gigs at the Arvada Center when I was 18.
Okay.
And that was a musical called Miss Saigon.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So you've been at it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been acting since I was a kid.
So. Okay. So speaking of childhood, what would your young self say to the self that's sitting here right now?
What would my young self say to me right now? I think they'd probably be a little bit freaked out, but.
I'm sorry, I love it. That's how I feel too.
They'd probably be freaked. I mean, if I were to if as a younger self see my older self, I'd be like, "Are we messing with the time-space continuum? Like, is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
is this wrong?"
Right.
No. But after that initial shock, I think they wouldn't necessarily believe that I went on this path.
Okay.
Yeah, because I went to an arts high school and I went to college for the arts, but like I never really was like cast in anything, even though I was like my focus was theater and music and everything. I wasn't given those opportunities, so I always had to seek them out myself.
Right. Okay.
So the fact that I've been working as like a full-time artist, full-time actor, it has honestly kind of felt like a miracle and kind of amazing, since there were so many times in my journey where I was like, no one gets me. No one knows where to put me. And so, yeah, I think my younger self would be really interested. And I think if I had to say something to my younger self, it's just like, just keep doing what you're doing and don't try to keep fitting into people's definition of who you are.
Right.
Just like define who you are, because that's the journey, and then like lean into that more, because that's what's going to get you to where you are and also get you to be happy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
To be in your joy.
Yeah.
In your joy space.
Exactly.
So as a young person, is it safe to say that you kind of enjoyed like cosplaying another person, or, like another identity at times while you were trying to figure out what it is that you wanted to do?
Oh, that's such I wouldn't say that I enjoyed cosplaying or whatever. I think it really is the medium that really excited me of like, how do we tell a story that isn't just on the page? How do we physicalize it? How do we then use that to connect to people? And
Okay.
I think that's always been what's really interesting to me. And even when I was like having doubts about whether acting was for me, I still wanted to be involved in this like form of storytelling and connection. So I was like, maybe I want to direct, maybe I want to do all the research to tell the story and be a dramaturg, or maybe I need to be a stage manager in real life. And so I've always like just wanted to tell the story. It was never about playing different parts for me.
Okay. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more of the, like you just said, the storytelling, but you get to take on that whole character and deliver that message. Like, what vernacular do you use? Like, like, is it the young version of yourself, the teenage version, or where you're at now? Or is it like a whole different person that is sitting in the, audience that you're trying to tell the story to? Who are you telling a story to when you take on a character?
Ooh, I think it depends on the story.
Okay.
Because like different things are for different people, and
Right.
It sparks different conversations, which I think is one of the beautiful things about storytelling, like whether it's on film or stage. With Noises Off in particular, I think it is for everyone because we're
Absolutely.
going through such heavy stuff these days. And so the message of like, what is laughter, and like, can I laugh at this? Can I laugh at them? Can I laugh at myself? Do I see myself in these characters? I think is really lovely. But versus like another show where it's like, oh, maybe the message is specifically to examine race, or to examine queer culture, or to examine whatever, like, and then you're trying to reach out to more specific people in the audience, right? Through also learning about yourself in that experience, I think is really important.
Right.
Yeah.
Every single one of those characters up there was a relatability on every level for me. And I think that the beautiful thing was kind of allowing the chaos to be seen. And it stirred something up in me, just the connectivity, because a lot of times there's plays that I've been to where there's like such a reflective moment, and it's just like sweeps the audience in a silence. And this one was like, nobody could stop laughing. Tears were pouring down my face. I could not stop laughing. And your character, particularly in the second act, and how you were trying to like micromanage everyone's emotions, but still be aware that you had some too. It was so brilliant, and you just did a fantastic job. So sitting with you today as Jenna, I feel like I really don't, obviously I don't know you, but I feel like I'm getting to visit all these different mediums in which you exist. So it's really, really brilliant. Thank you so much for sitting with me. So to speak to that, can I just ask, what drew you to Arvada Art Center in general to start partaking in your maybe career there? Or
I think when I auditioned for them back in 2008, it was really just because they were doing a show that I wanted to be a part of.
Okay.
And then once I got to work there, I really just fell in love with that environment. They do so many like outside classes, and it felt like really like an arts pub.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
And
that's
so
a
they
good
do
way to
dance
put it.
classes. They have galleries that change consistently, and there's so much going on there. And they really are just bringing in the community into that space. And I think that's super, super exciting. And then since then, I've just always had such wonderful experiences with like the design team, the crew, everyone. Like the box office is always so super helpful.
They are.
Like some of the best people are at that box office. And like, so I think going in day out has always been like a good vibe.
Yeah.
And so that's why I continually try to book jobs there, because
Yeah.
it's a good place to work. Yeah.
Absolutely. Is there any other like locations or plays or activities that you're part of within the city that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I kind of work all over, thankfully.
Okay, beautiful.
As a full-time artist, you have that nomad
Yeah,
lifestyle
right.
sometimes. I've been really lucky to work at places like Miners Alley Performing Arts Center,
Okay.
which is brand new. They just moved into a new building as well, and they're trying to also create a place for the community in Golden.
Okay. I haven't heard of that, so I'm going to look that up. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Curious Theater is a place I've used to work, which actually right now they're trying to do a whole thing where they're trying to raise money, because right now it's just like a hard time for theater and the arts. So, if anyone listening has money to give, please look up Curious Theater. Their motto is "No guts, no story."
Okay.
And I think that's really
Yeah, that is.
they've put on so many interesting plays that really provoke thought, which I've appreciated. The Denver Center is always great, specifically Off Center,
Okay.
which is like their little side theater company, which they focus on like immersive works. And I was lucky enough to work there a lot.
Okay.
Most recently, I did Theater of the Mind with David Byrne from Talking Heads.
What?
So that was
Okay.
really, really awesome,
Okay.
and what a wonderful experience. So there are the few communities that I really, really enjoy. And right now, after this project, I'll be going on to do a show in Carbondale, which is super exciting.
Okay, you are in that nomadic way. I love it. But I love how everything that you're saying ties to community. So there, I guess within that community itself, is that something that you really like to have aligning with your moral compass when you're working with a company? Or is it like, I know we're all kind of like in a struggle space, so we have to accept things maybe we don't want to do, but typically it sounds like your focus is, inclusivity in community and just, that sounds like it's your moral compass.
Yes, it is. I grew up in Denver. And,
Okay.
And so I know a lot of these people that I'm working with very well. And so it does start to feel like a family.
Right.
And so it's like, how does our family reach out to your family then? And like,
Right.
how do we bring in new people to join our big family? And
Right.
like little things like that, I think are important. And you do feel the sense of home in each different theater space. And it's those like also being let into their home.
Right.
Is like, okay, how do I honor your space? And I think it's I think it's good. I think it's what makes theater so much different than like film. It's like because you're constantly connecting to strangers or people that you've known for a long time, and working through a common goal. And so yeah, community is really important.
I agree with you on that. That's a big reason why I've been so drawn to the Arvada Center for like the last year and a half. It's just the sense of community that like the more regular you become going there, like the more that they're like, oh gosh, like it's you again. Amazing. How are you? So that's definitely like why I love supporting there. I keep sending folks there, just like Denver Community Media, where we're sitting today, that's allowing us to have this connectivity.
Yeah.
But within community, and you just brought up a point about film and how I think that we're all witnessing within the industry, the entertainment industry in general, a big shift right now. And I think obviously through COVID too, we all kind of went back to our screens, and so we were watching a lot of, the stars and stuff. And now that's shifting again. We're starting to see how important the arts are to each community.
Yes,
And
I hope so.
it's absolutely existing because to be honest, I had only ever been to like a half a play when I was a kid. I wasn't exposed to that. I grew up in the sticks. And so coming into this realm, I'm like, whoa, if I would have had that representation at my age as a young person, I don't think I would have so heavily relied on, going into my teen years and my young adulthood looking to like movie stars, if you will, because that's all that I really had in my vernacular, the entertainment industry that way, versus knowing that there's a community of entertainers and people that produce thought-provoking things that really allow us to sit in like a healing space with ourselves, right?
Yes.
And so for me to witness what you all do has been healing.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely curing my, seasonal depression, because you're in an interactive room with folks and you're
Yes.
feeling the abundance of joy, just like elevating. Whereas you go to a theater, like everybody's quiet, don't make a sound, don't peep. And like, I like interaction as a neurodivergent person. It's very essential for me. And so what would you like as, as someone that's in these types of arts, what's on your heart to let folks know that maybe don't have this representation? And maybe they're just tuning in and they're hearing something like, wow, that exists. What would you like someone to know about, the community and what it's like to support your arts directly in your community?
Well, I think the thing that makes art so special is that I think there's this like misconceived notion that art is very private. And it's not. Like, you can make art as a painter, you can make art as a dancer, you can make art as a musician, actor, but it really is it's what that piece does and the conversation that the outside person has with it. Right? So if you're at a concert, like, you could sing all these songs and they can make you feel good, but it really comes down to, like, the people that are listening to this music, what does that make them feel? And then it starts a conversation. Art starts conversations.
I love that.
And, like, sometimes it's not easy to talk about hard things. It's not easy to talk about good things. Like, but that's why it's such a beautiful medium where it can just act as a vessel.
Absolutely.
And I think people forget that. Like, art needs community. Art promotes conversation. Art is a catalyst for connection.
Absolutely.
And I think it doesn't have to always just be like, this is my art and this could be whatever. Like, it's made to be shared. And so therefore it needs people to also play an active role in that medium. You know what I mean?
I agree. Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that because it could feel like very solo, whether you're like scrolling on your phone or whatever, but you're still like making an active choice. So to have a comment in your brain or whatever. But so what does that mean if you like just share it in a more live setting?
Right. No, no, absolutely.
Like, I feel like I'm rambling, but in my head it makes so much sense.
No, absolutely. Especially for my brain, because anytime I go into, if I go into a theater where we're going to watch a movie, it's all be quiet. You can barely it's just whispers. But then you get into like a play environment and the theatrics, and it's just like everybody is there supporting someone, which just makes the joy so much more abundant, or the message, or the thought provoking, invoking of all the things. And so I totally know what you mean when I walk into Arvada Center and I am like, oh my gosh, all these folks brought this together. And then the awareness is, let's all sit with what this art form is and how does it resonate with each of us. And so then I love when there's an intermission. It gives us all a second to move for a second, stim it out, then come back to that conversation that is being had in front of us that we get to interact with.
Yeah, and it's good because you feel each other's energy too. Whether that's laughter, and like laughter is super infectious, and like that's great, or whether you're watching like a drama, and you can feel like the weight that people are experiencing next to you, and like that's really beautiful too. To like, oh man, that just hit us all like at this time, and we had not have to process that with people next to us. Like, what do you do with those feelings? And I think I think it's really special.
Gosh, you're just like you get it, I get it, and now you need to go and watch a play. Okay, that's all I gotta say. So within this whole conversation, which I'm so very grateful that you're sitting here, like I'm just fan humaning even more. I don't even know what to do with myself. I don't know how to act right. But within the, I asked you, what would your younger self say to your older self? And now that you're sitting here and you just had this beautiful way of explaining what plays and these art forms do, and also speaking to the space that it doesn't have to be this like secret and this like, kept to myself. I'm going to sidetrack for 2 seconds and we'll come back to that. But I had never been privy to be in spaces like Arvada Center. So I had no representation of what that looked like. And then the older I got, I just thought, I'm not going to enter that. It's an art gallery or it's a play. It's like for the rich, and it's privy to, there's not price inclusion. I can't go, so it's too expensive. But that is not what Arvada Center is at all. And just like you sitting here in this chair today, just like taking the time to have a conversation outside of the character, but relating to the character, it just is allowing me to see that it's okay that I get to observe that world and be part of it.
Please,
And so,
yes, I want
like,
everyone to be a part of it. Yes.
thank you. So, because of the impact that you have already had on me, and you're not aware of it, because like I'm gonna leave here like library screaming all day because I'm so excited about this conversation, and just that you took time again outside of like, okay, I witnessed you here and now you made time to be here, making it real and like tangible, like, oh my goodness, like we're human and we can have these conversations. What would yourself as you are right now say to your baby self now?
Yeah, I think it would just be a conversation of like, keep going, keep trusting in yourself. I think honestly I could probably still learn more from my younger self and just like remember what it was to like have that childlike curiosity and passion, and to not let the world completely make me so jaded. You know,
Yeah,
I think I'm still learning
absolutely.
from my younger self. I don't know if I have like much wisdom to bestow on them. I think they are still teaching me every day. But yeah, so I would just want to sit with my younger self and kind of just go back and forth and talk about what we both know and like what I can remember. And yeah, I don't know if that fully answers the question,
That's
but
the most brilliant answer I've heard, is like I'm still learning from my younger self.
I'm
and
still
the
trying to get back to that
Yeah.
person.
And that curiosity and wonder is so essential because we are stripped of that, you know, and that's part of our autonomy as a young person. And then we're stripped of it and we begin to believe, you know, this is the direction and you have such a focal point and goals, which is great, but we miss out on watching and witnessing ourselves grow. And we don't take enough time in the speed down and slow up, if you will, to just be like, oh my gosh, that young person, like I'm going back in time and my younger self is actually parenting my now self, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it. This has just been an absolutely brilliant conversation. Where can we, like, if we wanted to come and observe the art that you are in right now, being Noises Off, when can we witness that with you?
So if you go to the Arvada Center website or go and see the very nice box office people at the Arvada Center, we have shows running Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
We have 2 shows on Wednesdays, 2 shows on Saturdays, and we end the week with a Sunday matinee. Yeah, we're running a lot of shows. We close May 5th, though.
Okay,
so
that's coming up.
Please come watch our show. It's going to be so much fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. So you took time out of your busy schedule today to sit with me, and I just want to give you some honor where it's due. I barely know you, but you have a very ethereal energy. I see your earnest heart. Everything that you shared made me, like, helped me understand I'm right where I need to be. You were a beautiful, like, reflection of that today. So thank you.
Yes,
I just
thank you.
really appreciate this moment with you right now. So just want to, again, give some honor to Arvada Art Center, to Denver Community Media for allowing us to be in this studio today. And I want to give some honor to Jenna and their younger self, you know, because they came in and taught us a lot. And if you just tune in and listen to what they are speaking to, it's really the community base, community to finding that family ship, and then just kind of like existing in a way, knowing that your curiosity and your wonder in the world is okay to have and to keep pursuing these things, because we can set goals and believe that we're going to be where we think we're going to be, and then look back and be like, whoa, if I didn't take a pause there, I may not be where I am today. So thank you for taking time and pausing with me today to just like tune in. It's really, really beautiful. So y'all, I'm never coming from a place of like, oh, we're out here trying to encourage folks. We're just telling stories, So if this piqued your curiosity, again, all of the links will be in this podcast. And if you would like to reach out to Jenna, you can always go ahead and send me a message and I will relay that, because Jenna be busy. All right. So with all of that being said, not here to, again, sit in a toxic spiritual way and say, I hope you're feeling encouraged today. I just really hope that this brought forward and produced more joy for you to live in abundance with. And if not, then you can go ahead and move along. But with all that being said, do you have any last words, Jenna, for our listeners today?
I just say your voice matters, and conversation may be difficult, but it's necessary for us to move forward. And thank you for listening.
There we go. All right, y'all. And just remember to continue creating earnestly in love. We'll talk soon. Bye.